Welcome to Academic Word List 2. The academic word list is made up of 570 words used in college level classes in the United States. These words on this video are the second most common. In this video, I will be pronouncing the word normally and then slowing down to highlight syllables and stress patterns and then pronouncing it normally again. So let's get started. Achieve, achieve. Achieve. Acquire, acquire, acquire. Administrate, administrate, administrate. Affect, affect. This word has two different pronunciations. And it follows the second change. The stress does not change, but the ending changes based on how it's being used. So it's appropriate as an adjective, but as a verb, it is appropriate. Appropriate. So appropriate as an adjective, appropriate as a verb, and the spelling remains the same. Aspect, aspect, aspect. Assist, assist, assist. Category, category, category. So again, the Y is pronounced on the end. Category. Chapter, chapter. The P is unaspirated. Chapter. So you're not p-t. Aspirated means p. You can feel the puff of air on your hand. Unaspirated means chapter. Commission. Commission has a noun and a verb form, but the stress pattern does not change. So it's commission. Commission. Community. Community. So this word has two different stress patterns, and it follows the first rule, the first stress pattern rule, but it's leveling, so it's starting to become interchangeable. So as an adverb, you should be saying complex, but as a noun, you should be saying complex. For the most part, you can get away with just using complex and not worry so much about complex. But if you want to just pick one and use that interchangeably, I think you'll be fine. Compute, compute, compute. Conclude, conclude. This word is a noun in a form, and it follows one. So the stress pattern moves based on whether it's being used as a verb or a noun. So as a verb, it is conduct. As a noun, it is conduct. Consequent, consequent, consequent. This verb follows verb pattern 1, or noun verb pattern 1. And so the stress changes based on how it's being used. As a verb, it is construct. As a noun, it is construct. You may hear that final T not being pronounced, construct, as opposed to construct. And that's acceptable. But, pick one, practice that. Just pay attention to how the word is being used so that you know where the stress pattern needs to go. Consume, consume, consume. Credit. Credit has a noun and a verb form, but the stress pattern remains the same. So this one's an easy one. Credit. Culture. Culture. So you see a TU there, and for some reason it becomes ch. This is just something that happens. It's just like DU becoming j. TU becomes ch. Culture. Design. 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 Distinct. Distinct. Sometimes that final T gets unaspirated into oblivion and just becomes distinct. So you'll hear that, but if you want to pronounce it as distinct, that's also perfectly acceptable. Element. 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 Equate. 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 Evaluate. 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 Feature. So again, we got a TU in there. So it's feature. Feature. Final. Final. So final or final. Final. Focus. Focus. This has two pronunciations. It follows pronunciation pattern 1, so the stress is going to shift. As a verb, it is impact. As a noun, it is impact. So just pay attention to how it's being used, and so you know where the stress pattern needs to go. Injure. Injure. Institute. This word has a noun and verb usage, but it is pronounced the same way, so the stress pattern remains the same. Institute. Institute. Notice that that final T is unaspirated, so it just becomes a toot. Invest. Invest. Item. Item. That T is considered to be a tap T or a flap T. It's a T sound. It's not, or even a D sound. So item. 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 Journal. 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 Maintain. Maintain. Big jaw. Maintain. Normal. Normal. Obtain. 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 Participate. 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 Perceive. Perceive. Positive. 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 Potential. Potential. That TI becomes a sh sound. You may also hear potential. It's acceptable. It's interchangeable. The more common pronunciation is potential, but you may hear potential also. Previous. 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 Primary. Primary. The Y is pronounced. Purchase. 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 Range. 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 Region. 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 Regulate. 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 Relevant. 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 Reside. 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 Resource. 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 Restrict. Restrict. This is a consonant cluster at the end, so kt. Restrict. restrict. The T does occasionally gets unaspirated into oblivion, so it just sort of disappears. Restrict. Secure. Secure. You may also hear secure. Either pronunciation is interchangeable. My natural instinct is to say secure and not secure. Seek. Seek. Easy. Select. 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 Sight. 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 Strategy. Strategy. So that E in the middle is actually pronounced as E, and the Y on the end is pronounced. This word can be used as a noun or a verb, and this follows pattern 1. So the stress shifts in this word. So for a noun, it's a survey. As a verb, you survey. So keep in mind that you need to know how the word is being used in order to know where the stress goes. So survey or survey. Text. This word has a consonant cluster at the end. Text. Text. Tradition. 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 Transfer. Transfer. Sometimes there's a little bit of voicing on that S, so you may hear it as transfer, but transfer is normal. So I hope this was helpful. If you need more help, I do have videos on the other academic word lists and topics related to the word lists. I have books on each of the word lists that goes more in depth on the actual words themselves and gives you a little broader, that it'll enable you to expand your vocabulary a lot more quickly, because if you know the head word, you can expand from there instead of learning completely new words in isolation. I also have an activity book that will give you some further practice and some other books. And if you would like, you can contact me. I am available for tutoring, and that is my email address. So good luck. I know you're going to do great. Just keep working at it, and you'll be fine.